Hi guys, this is Yair from Rain the Dog. I hope that you're all feeling well during these crazy corona days. We will try to do our best to give you a nice and interesting lesson today that probably will distract you from your everyday problems dealing with the coronavirus. So, without further ado, let's start talking about what we will study today. Today, we want to take screenshots on fail using TestNG. In order to do that, we will implement the TestNG iTest listener mechanism. Also, we'll learn how to transfer parameters between our test and the test listener. And also, we'll create a method which will take a screenshot for us and copy it to our local folder. So let's start implementing the code in our project. Let's create a new test file. We will call it screenshots test example. If you guys don't understand why we did the extends common actions here, you should go back and listen to our previous videos. Basically, the common action class is a class that covers most of our basic Selenium wrappers that we want to wrap Selenium in order to enhance its capabilities. Anyway, let's start by navigating to Google. Okay, what I did here is that I'm trying to fail the test after I'm navigating to Google. The main focus here will be to take a screenshot of the Google page after it was loaded because our test will be failed. In order to do that, we need now to implement the iTest listener mechanism. So let's create a new Java class. We'll call it test listener. And here we'll implement the iTest listener of TestNG. Of course, because the iTest listener is an interface, we have to implement all of its methods. We can see here that we have the onTest start, onTest success, onTest failure, skipped, failed with success percentage, and etc. For now, we'll focus on this method. Here, whenever our test will fail, from no matter which reason, it can be an assertion, it can be an exception, our test will fall under this listener, and then we can do some actions. For example, we can take a screenshot, we can write down in our logger and reporter that the test was failed. So in order to do that, let's create here a private method that we'll call it take screenshot. This method will need to receive as a parameter the test name and the WebDriver. In Selenium, in order to take a screenshot, there is an object called take screenshot. We'll call it screenshot, and we implement it that way. Sorry. Now we need to decide to take get screenshot as, now we'll provide the output type. We can do it either in file or base64 or bytes. Now we will use a file. This is an actual Java object file. We can also use base64. When will you use a base64? Let's say, for example, you want to implement your tests and it's running in a server that you cannot upload images to a certain URL and read it from there. You can use the base64 and put it as an HTML tag in your HTML reporter. But beware with that, because whenever you implement base64 images in your reporter, the reporter might be so heavy that it might not even load. So we'll start with the file here. And then we can say this is our source file. Okay. Now we need a destination. Let's say we want to copy this file to a destination. So let's decide about the destination folder. For now, we can say that we have path. So we'll get the user dir plus, let's say we want to call our folder screenshots, and here we want to add our file name, the test name, and .png. So whenever we'll save this file, it will be saved to the user dir /screenshot /testname.png. Now we need to create, I see that I have a typo, destination. Okay. Now we need to copy it to this folder. So we'll create a destination file. With the destination path. And we'll use file utils. Okay, we don't have file utils. Okay, in order to have the file utils, you need to import to your project the Java IO, the Commons IO. So let's go to Google. Let's write down Commons IO. I've already imported in the past. So let's copy the Maven dependency to our project. Let's put it here. Now, okay, it's still loading. Okay, it was imported. Now we need to copy the file from the source because it will save it in a temp folder somewhere, and we want to copy it to our destination. Of course, we need to surround it with try catch. So we'll do that. And that's it. This method is ready. Now, in our onTestFailure listener, we need to call this method. But first, we need to have the test name. How do we get the test name? We can get it from the iTest results. We will just get name. And then we need also the WebDriver. In order to do so, let's go back to our test. And if we want to transfer some params such as the WebDriver to our listener, we can do some manipulation which will go like this. We'll call the reporter of TestNG, and we'll get the current test result. Now we can set an attribute. We can call it in any key and value that we want. Let's call it WebDriver. This will be our key, and the value will be the WebDriver. Now we transfer the WebDriver to our listener. By the way, as you can see, I did it just right after I've navigated to google.com, because if something will happen here in the test, I want to have this set as soon as possible in order to take the screenshot on the recent failure. Now we can go back to the test listener and we'll have our WebDriver from the test results just as we got the test name. Now we need to get the iTest result, get attribute. We called it WebDriver. We're almost set, but as you can see, we have some incompatible types. Because we know that this key will give us back a WebDriver, we can cast it. So here, we can cast it to WebDriver and we don't have the error anymore. The only thing we need to do now is to call our method. As you can see, this is the take screenshot method. So we can say this take screenshot with test name and the driver. That's it, we're all set. We can run our test. We're only lacking one thing. How does this test know that it needs to use this test listener? We need to use another TestNG annotation. We can put it here just above the class name and we'll call it listeners. And we'll say test listener dot class. That's it. Now after the test will run, here it will fail and it will fall to the on test failure. Let's try and do that. I will use breakpoints. So let me put a breakpoint here and we'll debug the test. Okay, we have succeeded in getting to on test failure. Now we're getting the test name. Let's check the variables. You see, the test name is the take screenshot test. And now we'll try to get the WebDriver by the key and the value that we've implemented. Yes, now we have this Chrome driver. Now let's call this method the take screenshot method. I'm stepping into, okay. Now it's taking the screenshot. It takes a while, so we'll wait for it. Okay. Now this is the path of our screenshots. And now we just need to copy it to the destination. Let me go to this destination and we'll check if the screenshot appears there. As you can see, we have our screenshot file here and we're all set. Now we can take this screenshot file and we can implement it in our report. We can maybe just after the test was run, we can see why the test was failed and everything. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have some offers to future videos, you're more than welcome to contact us and let us know. Also give us the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. Goodbye and stay safe.